What are the top 3 best things about getting a new variable speed pump? That's easy. So the number one thing for sure is going to be the reduced electrical consumption that your pump uses. So for example, this pump here running at 1500 RPM, which is slightly less than half speed, has an electrical draw of 4.2 amps, sorry, 1.42 amps. And that's about 262 watts of power. For that very small amount of power, the system is realizing about 36 gallons per minute, which is significant in terms of the filtration that the pump would need. So that is the number one thing right off the bat, is that the ability to turn down the RPM of the motor drastically saves you electricity costs while still experiencing a fairly decent amount of flow. So the second best thing about a variable speed pump is that when you turn down the RPM like this, it's very quiet. It's much quieter than when the pump is operating at full speed. Taking a look, there's a decibel meter running here, and you can see that it's right around 60, high 60s. My voice is actually louder than the pump, so I'm gonna shut up for a second here and let you observe the actual noise the pump is making. Okay, back to making noise again. So a lot of people really appreciate how quiet these things are. You know, sure, there's going to be times during the day when it probably needs to run at full speed or near to it, so it's going to be as loud as other pumps that you've had, but the vast majority of the day it's going to be running on a lower speed, and it's really quiet, and it's a much nicer swimming pool experience, ownership experience, versus a single speed pump singing away, especially one that's got a problem with something like the bearings on an older failing swimming pool pump, and it makes way more noise than it needs to. And that kind of brings me to the third and final thing on this short list of what are the best things about a variable speed pump. These motors, you probably can see, look a little bit different than other swimming pool motors you've seen. You know, aside from the variable speed drive bolted to the top of it, you'll notice that it's not open in design like the older single speed motor that you had was. There's no open part where air gets drawn through and passes over the motor to keep it cool. You can't see any copper windings when you look on the underside of this pump. And that's because this pump and almost all variable speed pumps are totally enclosed fan-cooled motors. So no longer being open to elements like dust and moisture, these pumps are totally enclosed. The fan is what cools them. And that is something that is significant. There's a lot of pump failures out there relating to environmental conditions like too much dust or moisture, and that's something that these new pumps alleviate. So in total, that's my top 3 list for what's the best things about getting a new variable speed pump. If you found this information helpful, please be sure to like this video and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And you can check out my website, swimmingpoolsteve.com.